Welcome to Unlocking Our Code podcast. Tonight, I'm here with Lou and a special guest. Her name is Val Quezada. Val guides hearts to heal, souls to rise, and she offers sound baths, ceremonies, coaching, and community classes. Tonight, we are exploring the healing power of sound and why sound is such a powerful force and how it has been used for centuries as a tool for transformation and inner harmony. Welcome, Val. Hi, Lou.
Hey.
Hi.
Val.
Thank you guys for having me.
Of course, we are honored to have you. Thank you for joining us. This is going to be like a great conversation. Especially, it's going to bring up a lot of stuff that a lot of people are not educated on when it comes to using sound for healing.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I did want to open up with a little bit about you. Like, how has your journey been? How did you get led into your journey of sound healing?
I don't know how far back to go. I mean, I've been a sound healer for a little over a year. Mm-hmm. I haven't been doing it for too long, but just like the community, the connections that I've made within that year and, you know, the outreach, and it's been amazing. I started sound healing I went to a sound bath. Mm-hmm. And it took me to a place where I realized why I play my life so small, and why I feel unloved, and why I feel like I'm always seeking exterior validation, and why I try to fill that void. So a sound bath took me there. Mm-hmm. And when I experienced that, I was like, oh, that's what I'm going to do. That's going to be my business name is Son of Self. Mm-hmm. I had the vision for Son of Self 10 years ago for the community aspect of Son of Self. I had no idea what it was going to look like. When I started my healing journey about 9-10 years ago, everybody, every coach, every mentor was white. Mm-hmm. And as a Latina, I was like, you don't get it. You don't there's just things in our upbringing. There's just things that we experience. There's that no eres de acá ni de allá, that they can't relate. Yeah. And that's not to say we're different, but we're different.
Yeah.
You know? So when I started my healing journey, I was like, in 10 years, I want to be one of the healers. And during this time, I started, going out and drinking and doing that whole thing. Mm-hmm. And I started meditating at the same time. And then I started having nightmares, and I was like, the meditation's a problem. I'm going to stop. Mm-hmm. I never related it to drinking lowers your vibration, and you're allowing scary things, demonic things into your space. And at that time, I didn't know about protection. I didn't know about all these things that you can do to protect yourself in the spirit world. Mm-hmm. So I stopped meditating, and then years later, I fell deeper into the numbing with drinking. I started using drugs, that whole thing. I started my sobriety thing 4 years ago, and then went back to drinking, but stayed clean. And now I'm a year and 10 months into my second round of being sober. Wow. And as I unlock new levels of knowing, I call it the knowing, the inner knowing. I know that being sober and not intentionally lowering my vibration helps me in that aspect, and to reach new levels in reality and in the spirit world.
And that's so interesting that I want to touch a little bit on that you just said, intentionally lowering vibration, right? What does that look like for people that don't know what's intentional lowering of the vibration?
So something that I'm currently struggling with is eating bad food. So eating the junk food, eating the chips, that whole binge eating thing it's a form of self-sabotage that we don't really acknowledge. So that's one of the things that I'm trying to be mindful about right now is like, okay, let's go back to meal prepping. Let's go back to eating the greens. Let's go back to eating things and drinking things that like make you feel good, because I know I do this thing where like when things start going really good, or I'm going to the gym and I'm eating clean and I start feeling really good, I have this fear of being seen for like who I really am, or like being too hot. Too hot, or like too, I don't know. But I know like I know you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I know you get it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when I get to that point, then I just stop working out and I start overeating and I like gain the weight back. And now I'm in a point where it's like, you can't keep doing that. Like I've had so many, I call them level ups, like a video game. And I know I'm like slowing my growth and my development and what I could offer our community through like binge eating, which is ridiculous. So that's one of the things I'm working on. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing that for sure.
And congratulations on your sobriety too.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Yes, definitely. Now going a little bit into sound healing, right? For those that are not aware what sound healing is, do you mind sharing a little bit of what that is?
Yes. So there are different tools. There are different instruments that we use. I like using the quartz bowls. So quartz, like the rock, right? And our body is made of crystals too. So like these resonate with our body a lot easier than using things that aren't quartz, or like the metals and things like that. Basically, I have a set of 7 bowls. We have 7 chakras. Every bowl is set to the same frequency. They're set to 432, but every bowl is set to a different note. And every note impacts a different chakra. So that's how, like a lot of people that come to these things, after some time, you could start seeing colors. The colors are associated with your chakras. And like usually when we're playing one, like that's the color you're seeing, or that's the chakra that's being like unblocked or being worked on. Yeah.
How have you connected sound bath healing with you? Like as far as like in your own unique journey, how has that played for you?
A few months ago, I posted a video of me like dancing in the kitchen, meal prepping, right? And I think it was like POV, like sound healing changes your life so much in 1 year that you're spending Saturday night meal prepping and dancing in your house instead of drinking and like numbing so you could get the courage to like back it up on someone's dusty son. Like that's exactly what my post was.
Yeah.
So just within the last year, I really like learned to love myself and really learned to listen to my intuition, and like really I learned to silence the outside noise. So like sometimes we get overwhelmed, or like we ask people for like, oh, what should I do? But like, you know what you need to do. We just never take the time to quiet the outside noise. So it's really allowed me to quiet the noise and know what I need to do next.
That's beautiful, beautiful.
And in terms of like community, I've learned, when I started Son of Self, I was like, I just need to like, I started only working with women because at this time my masculine wound was just like, I could not hold space for men. I did not know how to love men. I did not know how to hold, like allow them into the circle. And now I've broken through that. So they're, you know, allowed to certain ceremonies and sound baths and things like that. But initially I was like, oh, I just need to love these women until they learn to love themselves. And then I was just like, I think in November or October, I had the realization, like, you've been doing it wrong. You need to love yourself so unapologetically that it rubs off on other people. Like, you give people permission to show up for themselves by you showing up for yourself.
Yeah, and that's the key, right? That's right there. It's the key, showing up for you.
Yeah, because people are seeing that, and it allows others that are struggling with that to say like, hey, if she could do that, I could do that too, you know? And it's something definitely that I'm learning, and that I struggle, but I'm learning along the way. And so just being who I am, right? Well, I first had to figure out who I was, right? Like shedding all these layers of who I thought I was. But then, and then I still feel like I need to give myself permission to be myself, right? So when I see people like you that just like you, that you're out there just like exactly what, like you said, I'm just out here, I'm gonna be me, I don't care what you say, I'm unapologetically me, you know? That gives people like me that courage to say, shit, I could do this too, you know? And so yes, you are doing that for people, and so that's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. How do you feel that, or why do you feel guided to support others at this time with everything that you're doing, right? You don't just do sound bath. You also do ceremonies with, one of them is the cacao ceremony that you do that I've been dying to do myself. You also do like classes. Now you're helping children too in your studio. You're doing like meditations and sound healings and stuff like that and other stuff, right? And who knows what else you'll bring, but I'm sure. Why do you feel that calling? What is behind that?
I think, okay, so I really started struggling. We'll go like back more. Mm-hmm. I am first generation. I have the immigrant parents that came from Mexico. I have the parents that know how to work hard and worked really hard and accomplished so much, but did not know how to provide emotional support in the house. So they were the ones that, well, you know, we gave you everything we didn't have. They gave us the roof, the clothes, the food, those things that you need for survival. Mm-hmm. So I was raised on survival. And that's not to say my parents don't love me, because they do, but they also don't know how to love themselves in a way where they could teach me how to love myself. And I know that that's associated with like all the shit I put myself through, all the numbing, all the drinking, all the drugs, all of that, because I was just like escaping from not knowing how to process anything. I also have always felt very deeply. And I thought it was a weakness to always be crying. And I've found that that's really my superpower, is that I feel so deeply and I care so much. And I've been through so much shit and have come on the other side of it and like really learned to alchemize my pain and like turn my story of like, I'm not a victim, like it's just a part of me, and I went through all these fucked up things so that I could relate to more people. Mm-hmm. And really well-rounded. Mm-hmm. And now I'm in a place where I have overcome enough, and it's now or never is really where I'm at. The opportunity for the studio kind of just fell on my lap, like literally. Mm-hmm. I applied for it, I got it. I don't know how I'm doing it because like financially it's just not making sense right now. But I know it's going to. I know the people are not yet ready, but I feel the shift. I see the shift, and I just want to be there now so that people know as they're awakening, as they want that support and that community, that we're there. Like I'm already there, like 75 5th Street, Gilroy. That's where you could find us. And it's a safe space for the community. That's all it is.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I could see how even when you were talking about, you know, being raised with parents that didn't have the emotional intelligence per se, right, to meet your emotional needs. But how beautiful that you found sound bath healing to support you in that way, right? To give you the things that you probably were still searching for, like you said, with numbing and alcohol and drugs and stuff like that, right? You found a healthier, per se, way to connect not only to yourself, but to bring more healing, you know, to your life through this beautiful practice that it's sound bath healing, right? I feel that sound in general, right? Sound bath is one of the tools, and there's so many different sound techniques that people can use. But I definitely know that sound for me since day one. I mean, I'm talking about day one that I started my journey. Sound went hand on hand with my healing journey. It was never just healing or doing meditation. No, sound has been present since day one till this day. I don't think there's a day out of the week that I don't do sound healing. Every single day, like even here at work, right? I'll just play it for 8 hours in the back end, because I feel that sound it communicates to my soul. It doesn't need words.
No.
Right? So if I'm working through the heart healing, or I'm going through anything, I target that area with sound, and I'll just have it playing in the back end, so it's supporting me in the back end. So I feel like it's like a friend, you know. Sound is just so powerful, and sound is not something that it's new aged either. I did some research when I got ready, and I seen that sound is it's ancient wisdom. Actually, it's not a new thing. It's an ancient practice that dates back thousands of years across various civilizations. Some of those are like ancient Egypt. They used sound for healing, for consciousness transformation, for temples. When they were building their temples, they would have people singing, chanting as they were building the temple, so that they could feed that sound into these sacred places, right? How, like, that's so beautiful. And the indigenous culture, they would also do like drumming and chanting to help them heal at a body, mind, and soul level. Chinese medicine's another one. Traditional Chinese medicine incorporates sound healing through Kwai Guan. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but I hope so. Where they use different sounds to target specific organs and to clear energy blockages. So if they're clearing the blockage in the heart, they're going to use a certain frequency to heal the heart, right? Kind of like what you're saying, the frequencies of your bowls. Each bowl has a frequency of 432 hertz, and you target like certain chakras of the body with the sound, right? And that I just find that so like magical as a tool to have sound. It's sound, no words, no nothing. It's just sound speaking to your soul at such a deeper level. And I don't know, I find that amazing.
It's that and like if you go to church, right? Mm-hmm. You're singing these songs, and they found that some of these songs have these healing frequencies. Mm-hmm. So like as they're singing them, like you feel that within you, because it's the healing frequencies, and that's what's really getting that emotion out of people, or really making them feel connected and bonded and like in community. When I found that out, I was like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you guys have ever like gone to church and like just cried because they're singing.
Yeah.
Well.
And it hits something, and like that happens through sound bath still.
Yeah.
The frequency.
I remember when I was here for the women's circle, and you did the sound bath for us. Oh my God. I didn't know what to expect. Like I had no clue, right? I was like, hey, what's gonna happen here? Am I ready? I didn't know if my body was ready, or if I was going to feel anything, because I felt like, what if I'm blocked? What if I'm not gonna feel anything? So anywho, I remember just laying there and say, okay, I'm just gonna let it be its thing. Like stop thinking, just let it be, and I remember just my ears, the sound was first like in my ears, and it just felt like it filled every single space, like it filled everything in my ears, and then it just went into like my brain. I felt like the sound was in my mind, I just couldn't, like there's nothing else. Like it felt like it was just me and just sound waves, right? I can't describe what it was. And then I just felt it everywhere. It just was in every cell. It was everywhere. It was just this intense. It's like I wasn't even there. I was like inside of the sound. I don't know how to couldn't describe it, or the sound was inside of me, or I was inside the sound. I just couldn't describe it. But at first I was like, I freaked out a little bit, like, oh my God, this is way intense. And then I just like, no, just let it do its thing. And then the color purple was just intense. That's what I saw. It was just a purple, and I just didn't know what to expect, but it felt amazing. Like I didn't want it to stop. It was just beautiful. Yeah. And it was beautiful. It was amazing. Like even hearing how you just played it for a little bit right at the intro, I was like, can I just lay down? And then can we just do this podcast laying down with you just playing the sound, please?
For the next 45 minutes.
Yeah. But then I found out, what was the purple? The purple was
your crown chakra.
Yeah, my crown chakra. I need to make sure that I'm, that was like my thing. And I think it all lined up. I remember, I think I got a card, and it was the card that we got, it had to do with the same color. Everything was just lined up. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, if you guys have not, like for the listeners, you have not experienced something like that, I have no idea. I invite you guys to go check it out. You guys are going to be blown away.
Yep. We've all experienced, both you and I have experienced it, and it was pretty amazing. Yes. How do you see now that we've, touched on the fact that it's an ancient healing tool, how do you see that our generation now is using sound healing? How is it evolving now compared to probably previous civilizations?
Well, I mean, if you look at like our Mexican culture, we have, the Aztec dancing, we have the drumming, the drum circles and things like that. Like that's all healing frequencies, right? They're just different instruments. Now I see that the sound baths, like people are becoming more aware of frequencies impacting us. So there's DJs that are putting healing frequencies in their music. There's artists that are doing that.
Wow, that's amazing. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. So they're like putting these frequencies in our music.
Yeah.
And they had changed. Our music is set to 440 hertz. And that's a little bit more disruptive for your brain than 432. So that every frequency does something different, right? So I don't know, long ass time ago, they changed it to 440 from 432. 432 is healing, and it helps us, right? But like society, the government, I don't know who, being, who they are and not wanting us to evolve spiritually, they changed it. So now we listen to music that's more disruptive. And like once you start on this like sound healing journey, there's like music that's way too aggressive for you to even be able to listen to, because it sounds so angry, and it just like it hurts you. You feel it. So I listen to a lot of like mindful, like manifestation music, a lot of artists that speak love, speak positivity, because what you listen to is what you become. Like subconsciously you end up like memorizing these songs, and you're singing them in the car, you're humming them, like even when it's not on. So why not listen to things that are gonna help you become better, help you love yourself more?
Yeah, I found that very interesting when I was in that part of my journey, when I was gaining awareness of what I was listening to. And I, did my research on that. I was like, oh my God, like this, I've been listening to all this music that is, sadly it's coded insane. In a certain way to not support humanity in the best ways. I'm not saying all artists, but the big part of the music out there is just, so I feel that being very mindful of what we're listening, also like our body just rejects it, because I used to listen to a lot of like Spanish music all day, all night whenever I'm driving. Now I can't really tolerate it as much.
And what music is this?
So just Mexican music,
Like los corridos,
like
is that what you're talking about?
Corridos or anything in general that I used to listen to. I could sense the frequency now, and I could see the message that they're trying. I could see what they're trying to do. So then I just opt out not to go that route.
Yeah.
So in my car, all you hear is just healing frequencies most of the times because I'm more mindful of it. Of course, I mean, I love music. I grew up with that music, but I'm more mindful of the time I'm spending like hearing it, because I know it speaks to my soul, it speaks to my subconscious, and then I'm repeating it, and then I'm chanting these crazy things, right? So it's like, it's super important that we're mindful of what we're feeding our subconscious, and because at the end of the day, it's a frequency, right? So I feel that that's like super important, that we are very mindful of the sounds that we are for sure consuming. Yeah. I did want to ask you, what are some transformations or healings that you have witnessed with sound healing? Have you witnessed anything that you've witnessed, whether in yourself or others?
I do like chakra alignments, and you connect so deeply with your clients. I hear a lot of like, this is way better than therapy, and it's cheaper. But it's like making that connection, and then like you see your clients like come to tears, and like just releasing the heaviness of whatever their problems are or whatever their traumas are. And over time you see people like really start loving themselves, and it's really cool. I started offering memberships at the studio now that I have it, because when people find me, like, they're going through a lot, and then they come to a cacao ceremony, a full moon circle, a sound bath, they feel amazing, and then I won't see them for like 3 or 4 months, and then they come back again when they don't feel good, right? And it's like, the intention with the membership is like, it makes the sound bath significantly more affordable, so that they keep showing up every week, so that they keep showing up every other week, like whatever it looks like to them. And I think the most important thing with the studio is really forming community. Like, you know, the same people keep coming back, and we're all on the same journey, and we all have the same goals, and like eventually you have created these bonds with these it's mostly women. It doesn't have to be women, but like 98% of who comes into my studio is women. And you really learn to, you have that, at some point you have that realization of like, we're all going through the same thing, and we're all sisters, and we need to support each other, and we need to love each other. And then you like go out into the world, and like everybody, you release that judgment of like, why would she wear that? Like, why does she look like that? Oh, you know, like that envy. You just like learn to see her for who she is, and you're like, oh, she's beautiful. Yeah. And I think that's been my favorite part of like going through this journey. It's like, I don't look at women and compare myself to them anymore. I don't look at them and like hate on them anymore. And I'm just like, I see you, like we are one, and it doesn't, I'm not saying just Latinas, I'm saying like every woman, I'm more understanding of them. Even without knowing their story, I'm able to just be more kind and loving and just do that.
Yeah, and I feel like that has a lot to do with, because it helps you, it helps heal you to the point where you can see yourself as a female, like a woman, a female, not as everything and anything that happened to you. You see yourself as a woman, right? And so you start having that compassion for yourself, and like you said, that self-love for yourself. So it, you know, once that happens, then you can now have compassion and have love for others that we couldn't do before, right? When we're not healed, when we're not seeing, when we're blinded by all the false BS that we carry with us. So I feel that that's the biggest thing that that is sound baths are helping, and that's what you're seeing. I wanted to ask you though, like, are you seeing women come into your studio? Are they aware of what they're stepping into, or how are they are they showing up, or how are they bumping into you? Because I want listeners to know that you don't necessarily have to be like in your awakening or far into it, or you know what I mean. But like, if I wanted to grab a girlfriend and be like, we're going somewhere, you're just gonna come with me, and even if they're not self-aware, you know what I mean? Some of us are further along than others when it comes to our healing journey, right? That's just what it is. And like we mentioned before, the journey never ends, but somewhere along the line, some people haven't started it yet. So somebody walks into your studio because their girlfriend just said, like, you're coming with me to something, you're gonna love it. And maybe they're more close-minded, not as aware. Or what are you seeing? People that are already ready, not ready?
I see both, right? Because people are gravitated towards different events and different, whether it's one person really likes working with the energy of the moon and they're going to come to that event, or one person's really curious about cacao and they're going to come to that event, or someone just wants a meditative sound bath. So they're all very different experiences, and even if you keep coming every day or every week, it's a different journey because you've gone through different things that week. And intuitively I'm playing differently. So you're gonna get something different every single time you come. It doesn't matter how often you come, right? What I'm seeing is, I know, like, business is slow, right? I've been open for almost a month and it's going really slow, and that's exactly what I expect. I know that I am there before the people are ready. And I know that it takes a very brave, very courageous person to go through those doors and continue showing up. Because it's such an intense experience, and you go deep within. Like I shared early, like, I realized why I feel unloved my first sound bath, right? And like, luckily when I had that experience, I was already super comfortable with feeling my emotions, and a lot of people aren't, right? So I think it does turn a lot of people off to like feel so deeply, and that's okay. Like, it's okay to come and like be like, that's too much for me, and then just come back when you're ready. But I do know that, like, the people that have signed up for my memberships, it's the people that have already done enough healing on their own and are seeking community within their healing. Like, they're tired of doing it alone, and they want that bond, that connection, and they it's like, you're tired of doing it alone. Like, it's exhausting to do alone, and you just want some guidance, or you want some sisterhood, or like whatever the case is. Like, those are the people that are going through my doors and keep showing up consistently.
Some sort of connection, like, because it is, if you, I don't know how far along I would even be if I didn't have you, Stevie. I probably would be not that far. Because she's always like been, I come to her with something and she's like, yes, this is what you're experiencing. Like, oh my God, this is happening to you. And I'm like, yes, what is it? What's going on with me? And she's like, I just went through that, or I've been there already. And so I'm kind of like right there right behind her. But it is, if I didn't have her, you know what I mean? You start to kind of, not separate from your circle, but, when you become aware, it's just different. The people that you were with all the time before, it just starts shading off along with all the layers that you had before. So it starts becoming like a solo journey, and it can feel like, well, should I even, like, I think beliefs start playing in your head, like your old beliefs start playing in your head, where you just start questioning whether you're doing too much, or is it, like, if you're alone, right? But if you do have that connection in that community, like you mentioned, I mean, it's someone to go and say, this is what I'm going through, and then someone can tell you, yeah, we are too. This is what it feels like. That's the beauty of it. I'm sure that's what keeps people coming back, right? And the whole membership idea, that's a great idea. Like, I love that.
Thank you.
I love that. So they have a membership, they can just show up to your studio.
So I have different memberships at different prices that offer different things. So like $111 buys you 4 sound baths in the month.
I love the number. I'm like, yes, $111.
And then $220 buys you any class you want. You could up to 10 classes in the month, and that includes the moon circles, because I do full moon and new moon. That includes everything except for like special events. So when I what's it called, when I collaborate with someone and we're having like a special event, like our 420 event is going to be like a special event, that gives you $10 off of that event, but it's not included in the membership. The whole intention is to keep people coming back, and it's like we spend so much money like going out for drinks, going out for dinner, buying things to make us look good and feel pretty, and it's like, well, you don't need those things when you feel pretty on the inside.
Yeah.
Like when you feel complete and whole and you're not filling that void anymore. Like when I stopped drinking, the realization that I had of like, oh, I could travel, like I could do things because I'm not spending hundreds of dollars every single weekend just paying for alcohol to not remember things in the same city every weekend with the same people. So, I mean, financially, like it just, when you start prioritizing things differently financially and you start putting your money into things that like help you feel better than like the exterior stuff, and like it all kind of just fades away. Like you just don't prioritize those things and you don't miss them.
Yep. I agree.
That is very, very true.
I also wanted to touch, we keep referring to like further along in the journey, just like a mindful thing for like the people listening that are like, oh, I'm not far enough, or like that's the ego. Like, you know, we're all perfectly exactly where we're supposed to be, and like I always say, like I'm technically a sound healer. I will not heal you. Like you come and you release what you are ready to release, and you're healing yourself. So like my whole thing is the self-empowerment, self-love. I have the tools. I know different ways. I make sure I take care of myself so that I could hold the space for you to go through what you need to. But I don't have all the answers. And one of the things of like when we come together and we're sitting in a circle, we're sitting in community, I might not have the right thing to say, but the person next to you might say exactly what you need to hear.
Yeah, I love that. That's very true.
Yes, no healer can heal you. It's you.
Yeah.
It's always referring it back to the
you.
person. Yeah. I also wanted to touch on how sound affects the body, mind, and spirit. I have here that science is now catching up with what ancient traditions have always known, that sound is medicine, right? So it's like, I feel like just that shift of sound is medicine, how profound is that, right? That instead of running for, I could use myself for an example. Instead of running for a pill to save me right away, how I used to when I was in mindful and seeking a healing wave or any of my tools that I use, right? How powerful is that to make that shift? Because I feel that when we understand that sound is healing, it gives humans their power. Like you're claiming your power, right? You're like, I have the power to heal myself just by chanting or by humming, right? How do you feel that is playing right now?
I mean, I think, you know, the whole awakening thing that's happening right now is like we are humans, and we are realizing that we are so much more than this like physical body that we're in, right? Like you're seeing hospitals offer sound healing. Like they go around with these bowls to their chemo patients and like play. They have the rain sticks, they have the rain drums, they have different instruments, and it's really cool to see. And it's also they're finding, like there's videos out now of, and they've known this, but it's just like now in the masses, right? Of frequency removing tumors.
Wow.
Yeah.
That gave me chills.
Yeah.
Because I can see how, I mean, I'm telling you that what I felt was like everywhere. Like it was in every freaking like cell, like in my body. Like I could feel the sound inside of me, you know?
Yeah.
And so I believe that.
And it's like
1,000%.
You know, you're coming, you know, imagine you're coming back every week and like all the shit, all the things that you went through that week are so heavy, right? But then you just come and lay down. And I think that's why I love sound healing so much, is like, as someone who's participating in it, you don't do anything. You literally lie there. Some people take a nap, and the frequency just, your body absorbs it, and it starts removing what you are already ready to let go. So that's one of the things that I always say is like, this is a safe space. Like, you might feel tingliness, you might feel anxiety, just like breathe through it and remind yourself like you are safe. It's just, you're removing like all those toxins basically.
Yeah.
Because now that you're in that subject, right, it's like disease starts within, right? So it's an incoherent wave that it's playing a tune that it shouldn't be playing, technically, if we're looking at it in a vibrational frequency aspect, right? If I got sick with something, it's because there is a frequency that I'm emitting from myself that is uncoherent, creating that disease, right? So I could see definitely how healing, right now I'm studying like the biofield and working with the toning forks to heal the biofield in the body.
Yeah.
So I see how in the frequency also, like with the sound bath, is like the frequency from the sound bath is gonna help bring coherence to that frequency that it's disbalanced, right? So if there's areas in the field, in the body, in the mind that are vibrating at a low vibration, or that are just blocked in certain ways, the sound bath, what it's going to do is going to help you bring balance to those frequencies that are not in balance.
Yeah, and it could literally be something as small as like, you know, someone hurt your feelings growing up, or like it could be like a big T thing where, you know, you just experienced death after death after death, or like sexual trauma, or like whatever the case is like we carry that with us, and if we don't release it, it's poisoning your body from within.
Yep.
And that's how we end up with pain, and that's how we end up with all these diseases.
That is pretty. It's very important that we know that as humans.
It's eye-opening. It's amazing, but definitely eye-opening, you know?
You could always just go on YouTube and like type in, you know, healing frequencies, and like there's things 8 hours, 11 hours.
This brilliant woman here at TV, that's when we started, remember how often you would tell me, Lou, play the sound frequency, go on YouTube and play like, you know, like powerful hertz for healing, or healing your inner child, because she knew exactly what I was going through when I was in, you know, when I was going through my worst moments, like depression, anxiety, and all that. But she kept telling me, like, while you're sleeping, or, you know, so you can go to sleep, just play this music, let it play while you're sleeping, just let it do its thing. I had no idea what she was talking about, but I never once questioned anything. It was almost like it was time for me to hear these things, for me to be there. And so she would tell me, do this, and that same day I would be like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it. Never once did my brain say, like, what the hell is she talking about? You know, never once. And then I just, I remember one time I went on YouTube and I played something like to release, powerful words to release, like, but I can't remember. It was something about like release the negative energy or something like that. And I remember I was working at the time. I was sitting at home, just working, right? So I'm on my computer and I'm letting it play in the background. And I just had this this feeling that came in me, so overwhelming. And I've never cried like that. Even thinking about it right now makes me so emotional, but I couldn't stop crying. And it was like one of those like loud cries, you know, when you're just like, it was so much stuff coming out, and I was just crying, and I was just like, oh my God, what's going on with me? But it was like crying like if someone I truly, truly loved had just died in front of me. It was like that. I'm so thankful I was by myself at the house that day because I don't know what they would have been like, what is going on, you know? But it was intense. And that's when I said, like, whatever that is, it's doing something to me, you know? So I'm a huge believer of that.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. How do you think that? What is your idea of how sound connects the mind, body, and spirit to bring balance in your own way?
I mean, I think it happens. I mean, you're feeling it physically. Like, you just feel it deep within you. And eventually you start seeing the transformation that's happening in your life physically, and like how you're choosing to show up for yourself differently, and just be more present with yourself. The mind, I mean, it's able to like shut your mind off. And that's not to say that like you're gonna go into this sound bath and not think about anything. It's that as different notes are played, as different frequencies are played, as different instruments are played, you're on one journey, like you're having one train of thought, and then I play something else and you start having a complete different journey. So it's like you're never just fixated on one thought. And I think that's the hardest thing for people, is like they try to meditate and like not think about anything, and that's not meditation. Like you should not ever try to force yourself to do that, because it's just not going to work. I always explain it as like, imagine you're at the train station and like every thought is a train, and like as these thoughts are coming in, you're just like, okay, bye, and you send the train off, right? And you just keep doing that, and then at some point you're just having these different journeys. Spirit, I think over time you just get that, like I said earlier, that inner knowing, that inner wisdom, and that's our ancient wisdom. That's deep within us. That's our ancestors, and that's deeply encoded in us. And society and like modern day has done such a good job at like disconnecting us from our inner knowing. But like when you take that time to really silence the noise and go within and remove all those toxins of like that negative energy and that trauma, you're back to a place where you learn to listen to that wisdom. You learn to pick up on the signs that your ancestors or your spirit guides, or that the universe is sending you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way of putting all that information together. So you did know.
Yeah.
I think when I said that, I was just like, oh, I have so much to say.
Yeah, but that's a beautiful, beautiful way of saying. I know, like, from my own personal experience, like, in my mind, it has helped me have more clarity and release emotions. Sound has just been such a powerful force, like Lou said. Out of the nowhere, I just started like releasing, right? Just the sound itself. When I have stuff that I have to work at a very deeper personal level, I always need sound as a companion. Sound is like my companion. I could be at home, like dealing with something very deep, and I know I have to go within, and I play a soft little healing note on the back end so that I feel hugged and embraced. And then that sound itself, it just helps me feel more safe and held in that moment. And in my journey with the body, it's been like healing the incoherent waves, right? Healing all that stuff that's still kind of lingering, and it's helped me feel, like I said before, safe and grounded. In spirit, I mean, I don't even think there's words to like explain the spirit part, but the best I could say is that it's helped me connect at a deeper level. It's helped me have like this very beautiful connection with source, with myself. I mean, it's just like the doorway. Sound has been the doorway to so much, because if we go back hundreds of years, sound was the first language. We didn't have words. It was sounds that we used, right? How do babies communicate? Through sound.
Yeah.
Right? When they're sad, they emit a certain, like, when not sad, but when they're in pain, they'll emit a certain sound.
It's a different cry.
When they're joyful and happy, it's a different one, right? So how do we read our babies when they can't speak? Through sound. Through the little noises they make. I see it because, I have an 8-month granddaughter right now, so I have tuned into her through sound. Since she was a newborn, I used to hum to her Like I would hum so that she could remember who I was through my humming. And now I still use it to this day. I have certain little noises that I'll make to her so she knows it's grandma, it's me, you know? And my husband did too. I don't know, just like weirdly, he has a certain specific sound that he makes to her so that she knows, oh, it's grandpa, you know? And it's just so cute how it plays out, but so profoundly interesting to know that as humans, there is an inner knowing that we know how to communicate with sound, that we know how to heal with sound, that we know how to connect to this very powerful force. There's an inner knowing, like you're saying. There's a deep inner wisdom within us that we know this information, right? And I love like your services because they provide a reminder of who we are in truth. Mm-hmm. Sound bath healing is just a reminder. This is you. This is a song that plays inside of you as well. Yeah, right? And I think that's just so beautiful, like to be able to do that for others, right? Mm-hmm. So I just think sound in general is just so amazing, and I could just imagine all the things that you witnessed through, like healing, and the things you don't get to witness, right? Like what you don't get to see and the other. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I I used to, I don't want to say worry about, but I used to like need that validation of like I needed to ask like, oh, how did that feel? Like what was your experience? And now I ask because it's that providing that safe space of like, let's talk about your feelings. Like let's explore your experience, because I remember when I went to my first sound bath, like we did the sound bath and I experienced all this shit I've never experienced before. And I had so much to say, and then I was sent home. So like I knew that when I started offering sound baths and like getting into this space, I wanted to make it a space where we will sit there and talk about what's going on, because we need that. Mm-hmm. You know, it's I don't want you to ever come to my space and feel like you need to process or unpack things on your own, because we could just do it as a community together. Another thing is like anyone could pick this up and just do it for themselves or have anyone do it. I am one of the people that's like very mindful of like who I allow to connect with me energetically. So it's like it's not the sound that I'm putting out, right? Because anyone could pick up these bowls and do what I do. But nobody could pick up these bowls and do what I do, because it's never about the sound. It's the connection. It's the intention. It's me knowing that I have a sound bath in a few hours and my life's a fucking mess, and I need to check myself and regulate myself and ground myself, because I cannot go into a sound bath with my chaotic energy, because then that's what I'm emitting, and that's what people are going to pick up on.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
And that's the work behind the healer. So no, right?
Val, not everybody can do what you do. Yeah. Okay. So don't say that. And it's the truth. I mean, for people that are completely new to it, like just think about the way music. Let's just talk about music in general, right? The stuff that plays on the radio. How much does that change your emotions, your feelings, how you feel inside, just by listening to a love song, or like a hype song, or a club song, or like a country song, or like I'm gonna go throw myself off the bridge song? Like all those songs switch your feels are just completely changed. People say, oh, change that music, I don't want to be sad. That in itself just tells you how much the sound has control of how we feel, So just to think that, like you said, something that is meant to help you heal, the sound, and just sound itself, that's incredible for someone for us to have that. We have that available, and it's true. Like you're talking about like music, TV, and I'm thinking myself, like lately I realized that I don't want to play music in my car. Like nothing has caught my attention.
I'm going to put you guys on to someone. Alexa Sotelo. It's all in Spanish.
Alexa Sotelo.
Really?
Mm-hmm. She's amazing.
Okay, good. Thank you for telling me, because I'm like going through, and I've always been the type of person that says like, I love music. It's been it's me, right? Before I'd be like, music is like therapy to me. I love it. I love to sing it. But lately I'm like sitting in my car and I'm playing nothing because I'm like, nothing is feeding me my soul right now. None of it, you know?
That's awesome.
So I'm just like playing, not playing anything. And I need something to play that I want to hear. And it's not regular music right now.
But I also have like, I call it trash music now, which is like the really good beat, but like you can't say you can't like, there's that Bad Bunny song that says, ni en mí mismo confío. But I think it talks about like you're being hard to love and you don't even trust yourself. So I love that song, but I will never, like, I don't sing it because I know the impact. I know that words have power.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't want to speak that into my life. That Shakira Soltera song, oh my God, I love that song. That was my like single girl anthem. And then when I like healed my masculine, I was like, okay, now that you are ready for a relationship, you need to stop listening to this song.
Yeah.
Because I just loved it so much and I sing it with so much passion.
Yeah.
And that's what I was manifesting, is like my love for being single. And like once I didn't want to be at that stage, I had to let that song go.
Yeah. It's like, thank you for serving me a purpose when I needed you, but it's time to move on. Yeah.
And that is so true. Even the concerts that we go to, right? Like my husband won this thing where we went to go see one of the big Mexican artists, and before going, I'm like, all right, like I need to do this whole protection, because I could see like the ritual going on and like, just the stuff they're chanting, But I love the beats, I know all his songs. So I just, before going in, very, very mindful. You're not going to chant certain things, protecting, our energy, especially, we're human. We're not going to be in a cave all of our life, but just being very mindful, right? Of like what we're allowing into our field. Like Lou's saying, like, I don't feel like a calling to just hear any music, and that's because the level of awareness that she is on, right? She's in her journey and she's like doing amazing. So I feel like certain music also falls off, like certain sounds don't no longer. Certain people, certain
foods, just everything. Your body, you start raising that vibration, and like all the lower vibrating things cannot keep up with that higher vibration. And it's not to say that lower vibrating people and things are not going to be attracted to you, because when you have a high vibe, like everyone's attracted to you. But if they try to make that long-term friendship, they can't. Like something happens and it ends up falling out. And I'm one of those people that I don't have a lot of friends. I don't have long-term friends. Like I feel like I've had, and I hate to speak about people like this, but it is what it is. It's like you have these beautiful relationships, you have these soul contracts, soul bond with these people, and they don't stay in your life for long. And I hate it because I miss these people so much. But during our time together, I mean, like the bond has served its purpose. I learned the lessons I needed to learn. And it's like, I know that if I was one of those people that had the long-term relationships, that had a good relationship with their family and their siblings, I wouldn't have the studio, because my soul would be fed with loving on my family, and I would have my community, and I have never had that. So now I have created this space for those of us who are in that same position to come together and be a community together.
It's like I seen this visual of like the people that have fell off, like their tune has stopped playing already because it's no longer a resonance with your own tune. And now you're offering your own tune to those who are seeking your frequency, right? But we must let go when we're asked to. Like you said, it's sad. And sometimes we miss those people and we want to be friends. But we're like, I always tell myself this when I'm missing somebody, like a friend that I used to have. I'm like, if it's not for my highest good, don't allow my ego to continue on that path, right? Because a lot of times it's the ego trying to just hold on to those things that are no longer in resonance, like with us as well, right? So I feel like in general, I mean, this topic has just been amazing. So if you could share before we begin closing, a couple of practical ways that people can begin incorporating sound in their own way.
I think the easiest thing is like when you're getting ready in the morning, when you're going to bed, go on YouTube and play those sounds. And it's nowhere close to experiencing it in person, but it's doing something.
Yeah.
I think that's like step one. Step two, start listening to the lyrics of the songs that you're singing. And like ask yourself, is this the reality I want in my life? And if it's not, change your music. Mm-hmm. Because what is it, like where attention goes, energy flows? Mm-hmm. That's what you're calling into your reality. And like bad things are never happening to you. You're just perceiving them in that way. It's all a lesson. Like let it be. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're all invited to my sound baths.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Everyone hearing this episode, if you're from our town and near her, please check her page out. I did want to give you an opportunity to give the address, the name of your business. I know you mentioned a couple of things that you do, but just giving a little bit more clarity.
So I'm in a space where I let spirit lead. I let, what the people request is what the people get. So I opened the studio in February. It's Son of Self, the Soul Sanctuary, SOL. Mm-hmm. Like soul como alma, pero sol como el sol.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The name of this business came to me, like I said, 10 years ago when I was taking a spirituality class, and I had the vision for this community in this space 10 years ago. And then the way my life has happened, now I'm in a place where I could actually bring that to life. And in the studio, we offer regular sound baths. So I think there's like 5 or 6 regularly scheduled ones, different days, different times, that you could just come to. You could either, make your reservation for that one class, or you could sign up for a membership and come to whatever ones you want. There is women's full moon circles. My full moon circles will probably always be just for women, because there is so much sexual trauma that we carry that we need a safe space just for us. And these walls come down, and it's just so beautiful. And it's just, there's this saying, it's like, when women come together, we heal together. Mm-hmm. And I just want to make sure that I'm still offering that space just for us. I started offering new moon circles, and the men could come to that. So new moon is for manifesting, and full moon is for releasing. Okay. So it's like really using every single energetic excuse or like opportunity to release things and call new things into your life is really what I'm trying to do, right? There's cacao ceremonies. I will probably do those maybe once a month or every other month. It's extremely powerful. It's a Mayan medicine that opens your heart. So it stimulates your heart the way coffee stimulates your brain. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they're very similar beings. It holds feminine energy. We try to protect the feminine energy, and it's really just, it takes you somewhere. It's beautiful. I also do like birthday ceremonies, like private events, things like that. And like bachelorette, like despedida de soltera, blessing way, which is like a baby shower, and it's like all women, and we like come honor the mom and welcome the baby. And it's just, it's beautiful. And it's all about, I started calling myself like a vibe setter, like I set the tone of like where we need to go energetically, and then we all go on that journey together. Yeah. What else? I do chakra alignments, like one-on-ones. I do narrative rewrites, which is like we take a pattern or a habit or like any aspect of your life that you no longer want to carry, and we deep dive into why and how you got there. And then we make a plan on how to release that and how to create a new pattern. I'm releasing a coaching program for first generation women. It starts like the week of March 20th. And that's just going to be like a virtual thing with optional like in-person things. So we could go back to like building that community, but also giving everyone, whether you're here locally or not, the opportunity to be a part of that. I offer kids classes. All my kids classes are centered around self-love and self-empowerment. So I have been working with children for the last 14 years, and obviously I'm going to make that a part of you know, the Soul Sanctuary. So every Friday I have classes at 11 o'clock for 0 to 5-year-olds. That's like sensory play and socializing. At 4 o'clock I have 5 to 12-year-olds, and we're just doing different activities centered around different aspects of self-love. Like last Friday we did identity. So they got intentional and like learned about who they are and how they identify themselves and like what makes up who they are. And then I have a teen circle at 6:30, and the teen circle starts with a 30-minute sound bath. Yeah, so the teens are the only ones that I offer sound for, unless, you know, parents want to come with their child. Just because the younger kids, it just opens up a lot more, and I want to make sure that the parents are there to experience that and be able to support their children during that. And the same thing with like teen circle at 6:30. It's all about self-love. It's all about learning who you are. It's all about building community. And then in March, I'm adding a class on Wednesdays and a class on Fridays for special needs kids.
Oh my God.
So these are just like the things I've been asked to do, aside from what I was already planning on doing, and I'm like running with it, like really just making the space for everyone.
Wow. So beautiful. Amazing services. I foresee this being just a beautiful place for. You're in Gilroy. If you want to share your address again.
Yeah, so we are at 75 5th Street in Gilroy. That's right downtown. Okay. Great. There's parking like on both sides of us. There's parking lots on both sides of us. So it's a great location. I'm grateful to be there. I'm grateful to be on this podcast, and I'm grateful to have experienced what I have and now be in a place where I'm like, hey guys, like I could provide the space now for, you know, the rest of us to come in and do the work.
Beautiful, beautiful. And where can people find you on Instagram?
My Instagram is Sun of Self, SUN of Self, Soul, SOL, Sanctuary.
Perfect. And we'll share her Instagram as well on our.
And my website is just Sun of Self. So www.sunofself.com.
Perfect. Thank you, Val, for all this beautiful information, for bringing your wisdom, for chatting with us tonight, and all of our listeners. It truly was an honor to have you, to hear your amazing message that you have to share. We hope this isn't the last time. We hope to call you again, and we'll talk about something different.
Yeah, and thank you for everything that you do. You know what? Because it's not only like I know that you say like it's a lot I've been getting called to do, but it's like it's beautiful. It's I mean, geez, just thank you. You know, that's like it's amazing. I want to do everything.
Me too. I was like, I could go to that. I could go to that.
Yeah. I'm like, and I want to take my kids. You know,
yes, our teenagers. Yeah, it'd be great.
And I mean, that's the purpose of the classes, right? Because I did not my parents didn't know how to teach me the emotional awareness. So like, it's okay if you don't know how to do that as a parent. Like, this is one of the resources that you could use to like support your child, even if you don't know how to do that stuff right now.
I love that. I love everything that you're doing. Everything is amazing, and kudos to you, because I could just imagine the back end work that you're having to put in to hold this amount of space. I know it firsthand. I know that you're doing a lot of deep stuff to be able to hold this amount of space. So like Lou said, definitely thank you for that, and for creating community in places that even though they're not there yet, just trusting that they're almost there, right? So that's beautiful. Thank you again for being with us, and thank you to all of our listeners to stay till the end. As always, you can find us at Unlocking Our Code Podcast on Instagram, and we hope to hear you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.